The New York Times called the House's final report on Benghazi one of the costliest ever at $7 million. Hillary, surprise, agrees.
I understand that after more than 2 years and $7 million spent by the Benghazi committee out of taxpayer funds, it had to today report it had found nothing to contradict the conclusions of the Independent Accountability Board or the conclusions of the prior multiple earlier investigations carried out on a bipartisan basis in the Congress.
So now a price tag matters to liberals. Remember the $500 million that went to a bankrupt solar firm? They don't. And yet outrage over $7 million. This newfound penny pinching is so laudable. And yes, all that time wasted on those questions.
And I said this when I testified for 11 hours, that no one has thought more about or lost more sleep over the lives that we lost, the 4 Americans, which was devastating.
Note to Hillary, 11 hours of testimony pales in comparison to those 13 hours in Benghazi. So is it a waste of time because we found no new evidence in which 4 Americans were murdered? What about old evidence? They had a 2-hour meeting that night, and half of it was about an anti-Islam video and a crazy Florida preacher. Rather than focusing on a rescue, they blamed the video. Then they lied about it. Now, if you don't think pushing a false narrative matters, consider that when terror strikes, it's now accompanied by diversions and denial. Blame a video, blame a gun, blame climate change, but no, please don't blame Islamism. And instead of confronting evil, obsess over appearances. That fateful night, those about to deploy to Benghazi had to change out of their uniforms 4 times so their clothes wouldn't offend Libyans. That's our downfall. We're more worried about how things look than how they really are. So as one side accuses the other of politicizing this attack, the only response really is, so what? When you're running for president, everything on your resume is fair game. And if Benghazi was on mine, I'd hide it too, Hillary.
So I'll leave it to others to characterize this report, but I think it's pretty clear it's time to move on.
Move on, indeed. Perhaps without you. That was my favorite part, Dana, was the nod at the end. Let's just move on.
It's a nod, and everybody in the media, in the newsrooms across America are like,
yes,
we got you.
Yeah, we got you. What do you think of the report?
I thought there was a few things that were very interesting to me. One is that conference call that we find out that they have. This is after Panetta at the Defense Department gives the deploy order. Then they spend 2 hours figuring out how to blame a video.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 of 10 action items in the call have to do with how to blame the video. In fact, Ben Rhodes, the communications director,
always there. Always there.
Ben Rhodes saying that our goal is to make sure it's about the video. The other thing I thought was interesting is that this fleet of anti-terrorism security team, it's called FAST, that's the acronym. They sat on a plane in Rota, Spain for 3 hours, and they changed in and out of their uniforms 4 times, which means that there's no clear chain of command. There's no command. They're not sure who to answer to, and you can just see them. Should they wear uniforms? Should they not? In, out, in, out. Meanwhile, nobody went to try to save our people.
KG?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought this was so outrageous because by the time the last 2 operators were killed, 8 hours have passed. It was more than adequate time to be able to prevent those 2 men from dying, those 2 heroes. And when you see they're having this, and Dana touched on that about the 10 action items, 5 of them are about the video. Remember who pushed the video? And some of the phrases, there were action items focused on YouTube video, others containing the phrase, if any deployment is made, and, quote, Libya must agree to any deployment, and, quote, will not deploy until order comes to go to either Tripoli or Benghazi. And that Secretary Hillary Clinton was the highest level cabinet member present in that meeting. That means she's the shot caller, and look at the call that she made that resulted in Americans dead.
No call.
Do you think, Eric, it'll come up in the debates?
Yes. If anyone were smart, they would stay on this. I'm watching this, and my thought is, who in good conscience could vote for this woman, knowing what we just found out? There's 800 pages in here. Dana points out, I think, one of the most important pieces of information is that there was a team ready to go, and Not that it took so much time, they just couldn't figure out what to do, what's right to do. Who cares? Americans
What
are
to
dying.
wear.
And I realized for a long time, you guys have said who pushed the video, and I've said who gave the stand-down order. I've been completely wrong. It's not who gave the stand-down order. Who didn't give the stand-up order, which is the most relevant part, because 2 Americans at least could have been saved, in my opinion, had someone stood up immediately and said, get there now, and get some help over there. Fly over, do something. One last question.
Who changed it, Bowling, right? Because Panetta said go.
How in the world did the Department of Defense and the White House say go, and it doesn't go? Who overrode the Defense Department and the White House? General Ham, step up and tell us who did that.
Tell the truth.
Well, I think it's really important here to say, you know what? A lot of this, as Kevin McCarthy said 2 years ago, was about undermining Hillary Clinton's campaign, proving that she lied. One of his staff.
Why can't it be both, Juan?
And guess what?
Why can't it be both?
Nothing. Let me just finish. Nothing. Okay. Zero. Zip. Here undermines Hillary Clinton. No new facts. And you know what, Greg?
Yes.
If I spent money and used congressional power to go after you for this period, you would say this is not America. This is a witch hunt. You would say this is wrong. No, and guess what? The facts are the same as they've been all the way back to the first one. So are you calling for yet another investigation, more wasted time? The goal was to politicize this, to make something out of nothing, and guess what?
But you know
Nothing.
what? Yeah, but Juan, you know what? Elections are about politicizing things. She's running on a resume.
Big fat nothing, 4 Americans dead. She's the highest level cabinet member.
Families of those people who are dead.
So what? Go talk to the people who perpetrated the terror, not to Hillary Clinton.
All right.
Oh my God. See, this doesn't matter. You know, she's just like, it doesn't matter. Even though she was the highest level cabinet officer there, she could have saved the lives and she didn't. But Juan doesn't think it matters.